Figure CEOs build their purpose-driven legacy businesses through proven branding, marketing, and sales strategies so that they don't have to sacrifice their income and happiness for their mission. Thanks for watching the Life School Masterclass show. Join our Facebook group community of badass mission-driven entrepreneurs, and come back next week same place and time for our upcoming show.
All right. Hello, purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Welcome back to another show. I have another amazing guest today with another amazing conversation. And today we're going to talk about how to go from overwhelmed and exhausted to energized and rested. Who doesn't want that end result, especially us being busy entrepreneurs? Sometimes our business can suck up a lot of our personal time, and that harmony and balance is, I don't know, it's not always there. So Jenni Glad is part of our beautiful community here. So I can't wait to introduce her to you and also hear a little bit more regarding this topic myself. I'm sure whatever she's going to share today is going to be great wisdom that I can personally utilize, and I'm sure the audience will as well. Jenni, thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk about this topic and share everything in here and have this conversation with you. So thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So where are we connecting virtually from today? I'm in New York and you are in?
In Spain, Mallorca.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have friends all over the globe. So I have a connection somewhere, anywhere. So if I come there, I'll definitely know someone there, and vice versa. If you ever come to New York, I'll show you around.
Yeah, I lived in New York, so I miss the city a lot, but you know, it's so beautiful in here. So come on over and relax.
Yeah, right in line with this topic. So Jenni, before we get into some of the things that you want to share with us regarding the topic today, can you give me a little background or context around, I guess, your personal stories, some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you are doing now?
Absolutely, and it was wonderful to start thinking about, like, as you asked the questions beforehand. So it's definitely, my career started from my own burnout. So I was in my early 30s, like 32, 33, and I was still working for corporate, and I wanted to change. I felt like I'm not doing the meaningful work. I'm not using my potential, my gift, everything what I wanted to do, and I was stuck in the corporate. But I started working too much. I decided I'm going to put everything in, and what happened? So I burned the candles from both ends and burned out quite badly. The lifestyle was fancy, and you know, I had gotten like everything what I decided, but you know, that burnout led to good things. So I really started understanding I need to start creating my life. I need to start moving towards my goals and visions. I really hadn't had them, you know, I hadn't defined them before. And I was like, life is too short to waste it being unhappy. And a few years later, I started my company, my business, and this became part of my work. This is part of my core work, emotional well-being, and I'm a transformational coach and hypnotherapist, and I work with the mind, with people, and help them to actually move on so that they don't feel blocked and stuck and frustrated and burned out and exhausted where they are. So I walk my talk. So
yeah, you felt it through your personal skin. You've gone through
yes.
it.
Oh my God. So I know.
Oh my gosh, your story is so relatable to me, because I share a similar pain points in my journey, which led me to the work I'm doing now. So it's always fascinating to hear that. But I mean, exhaustion, burnout is just one of those things that I just find, even at the level of my business that I'm in right now. Just like last week, I had to do like a whole reset again, because I started getting dizzy as I was working on my laptop. And now that I've become more aware around my body signs and the things that I need to listen to my body and emotions a lot more. It freaked me out a little bit, because I've had also personal episodes where I would just high achiever, push, alpha female, get things done. I was raised that way and all that good stuff. So it's like, where do you put how do you start to become aware of that? So anyway, the stage is yours. So let us know what you feel, and you call to share as far as the message. How do we go from overwhelmed and exhausted to energized and rested and happy and fulfilled, and find joy in our work? I think sometimes that's what I lose when I am just too go driven, trying to do the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's learning actually to the ways. You need to have a toolbox, like as you said, like you're feeling that in your body. That's a beautiful, beautiful way to connect. And I started feeling that in my body because when I started my business, I was not over those patterns of burning out. I couldn't stop myself from working when the business really kicked off. I had clients coming in. I was working, of course, I wanted to serve everybody. It was my dream coming true. But, I didn't have those boundaries. I didn't have the professional boundaries. I didn't have the personal boundaries. I didn't have the energetical boundaries that we need to have so that we learn to recognize when it's time to stop and slow down. And what I actually learned on that journey, because I started having these insomnia, adrenaline exhaustion when I was working a lot for my business. I didn't go out for 3 days. I was just eating in and working online, you know. And I know I'm not alone with this, So, but then I realized like I need to go to the next level, and I started investigating more better tools, habits, a lot like how we can actually work on ourselves consciously and unconsciously. And that's really important, so that our conscious mind is also aligned with those subconscious patterns that are actually driving us and making us work too much if we're not feeling enough, if we're not feeling that we're doing enough, if we're not feeling that we're worthy enough to have what it takes. As you said, it's your upbringing. So it's really coming from the past, and our past experiences are creating who we are today. But luckily we can change and heal. So I started developing like a daily practice, learning how to take care of myself on daily basis, plus having a weekly, monthly, 3-month plan that is including my well-being. That is including that, I have that time for exercise and yoga planned and scheduled in my calendar. And I started really tuning into my energy and asking myself, what do I need? Because quite often we say to other people, like they don't really listen to us, they don't really see us, they don't really give us what we need. But we need to start from ourselves, and we need to start putting those boundaries in place and decide, like, today I need to take like 1 hour off. I need to get a babysitter to, somebody look after for my kid, because I need my time to tune in, breathe. One of the biggest tools is to learn to breathe, honestly. Learn to regulate your emotions, learn to regulate your nervous system, so that you know how to calm yourself down and change those anxieties to excitement. Instead of moving on, instead of pushing through, because it doesn't bring the results. Or it brings the results, but then you have to sacrifice. Then you sacrifice your family or relationships or what is important to you for work. And that's not what we want. But this is the hustler culture, right? This is what we have all learned. Like, this is the way to be successful. But actually, when I talk about the success, I'm talking about success in all areas of life. Finding that balance. And it's not possible to stay balanced and, stay there for all the time. That's why I'm talking about these toolboxes. You need to create your kind of a toolbox that gives you the structure when you are going to take care of yourself, so that you have enough time for your partner, so that you work enough, and so that you take care of your energy as well. I talk about energy because it's really about like what we put out there comes back to us, right?
Absolutely. But you talked about some of the important things that I've also learned. And some days are better than others. And you forget that you have your most natural system, right, with you, which is the breathing part of things. Because I would cope with a lot of my stress sometimes by overeating. I would think that I need to change my emotion in the moment because I was feeling stressed or overwhelmed. by just grabbing something to eat, and someone can cope with it that way or do something else, right? But
Yeah.
just learning that, wait a minute, just stop, breathe.
Yeah.
Right, we have the most natural way that we can calm down and go back to base, go back to our center, just by breathing. So I think that's really an important highlight that you just brought, besides all the boundaries that we need to set. And I almost now calendar all my personal time, because I don't find there's any other way to really be intentional with my personal goals and also my business goals. I almost have meshed them together, because I know that it's just one life I have. So if they are gonna, if I'm gonna take an hour in the morning to do my walk or go to the gym or do my learning or my meditation or my prayer or whatever people, their rituals are, it's gonna have to go in the calendar. Or even my 30-minute lunch break where I make my protein shake, it's just gonna have to go in the calendar, because otherwise it's just so easy to get caught up in the next distraction that comes our way and lose sight of the bigger goal of why my health is more important than the success that I will achieve through my business by just answering that next message or answering that next email or working off that task on my calendar. I think what you share that was really powerful with boundary setting and also breathing. Just breathe.
Yes, breathing and being more mindful. I think I'm not talking that much anymore about mindfulness, but the emotional regulation, because it's super important. We all kind of learn to disconnect from our emotions, because we learn like, okay, there's bad emotions and there's good emotions, and we shouldn't be angry or feel frustrated or show our emotions. So we kind of get them. That is the habit that we created. And when we are not well, when we're feeling exhausted all the time, there's always something that we don't actually see or want to experience. We want to push them away. And that is the natural way that we do. And that's what mind does as well, because of course, mind wants us to stay in pleasure. And even though it's pleasure, sometimes it's exhausting, because that is the pattern. That is the pattern. It's a habit. So it's like that is the way that we have learned to be, for example, after the work. And or that we're not scheduling in that self-care that you just mentioned. And it's not happening because the mobile phones, emails take over, and then you just like your mind is getting really wired, and you cannot cut that because it's super addictive. And of course, then you're in the busy cycles. So it's really important to learn to take those breaks and even set up like a 15 minutes time to breathe, to feel, to see what's going on on today, where I'm going to go next. I'm going to feel, set those intentions on daily basis and all the time. It's really energizing when we are actually listening to ourselves and paying attention to our thoughts, to our feelings, to our needs, and giving ourselves that. And that is creating a lot of energy, because we're not only giving, but we're giving to ourselves as well and staying centered. So that is the best place to meet others, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is such an important topic, and I love the work that you do. Tell me a little bit more regarding your process, Jenni. So, how specifically do you walk people through the stages to get them from the pain point to the results and the outcome we all want, which is feel energized, feel good, feel rested, feel centered, feel balanced, all these words, all these feelings that we
Absolutely. So I have programs, but when I'm working with people one-on-one and they come to me that they are exhausted and burned out or overworking all the time, and they feel like it's not in their control anymore. That's how we feel really bad, when we feel that we're out of control. That's how we feel, and we start becoming resentful and blaming others and blaming our jobs and companies and bosses or ourselves for not being able to stop. And then when we're getting too exhausted, we kind of are feeling too foggy to see where we are anymore. So that's where we always start with my programs, in the group programs, or with my one-on-one clients. We start looking at where are we now, right now, looking at all the areas of life, what's going on well, what needs to be improved, where they want to focus on. And quite often people don't see that very objectively, where to focus on. They think that it's, for example, work or finances or time management, but it can be totally something different. And then we start seeing like what we need to start working on and where to put the focus and how to actually take those tiny steps, how to change that. Because every day we can start creating, we can start again, so it's like kind of a believing it didn't work yesterday, we can start again today and do that again, right? This is the entrepreneur's mindset.
Yeah.
And choosing.
Yeah.
And choosing, because we can really choose again. And really, then we start healing the trauma and patterns so that we don't keep repeating the same. Because they keeping repeat the same, that's of course not going to be helpful. And especially when we talk about exhaustion or even burnout, there's a reason why we give too much, why we don't feel enough internally, or why the work is validating us. And when we start healing those inner triggers and traumas, we become free from those patterns and we can make the changes. So it's like you have the emotion, but it doesn't take over, or you're not eating emotionally every day, all the time, but you can actually control that and you're becoming aware of your emotions. And then you heal your body as well. And that's like a big change is happening. And then we start creating new habits, so new structure, and tailor-make the toolbox for their lifestyle, their desires, their goals. What they really want and need.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you said. Every day is a new day, especially when you're trying to implement something new. Nothing ever goes perfect. Nothing ever goes on a straight line. There's always, learnings. It's a messy process at the beginning. It's just embracing this. I mean, we know this as entrepreneurs with our business. Take messy action. Just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And then adapt slowly as you move along the journey, as you grow your awareness, you grow your skills, you grow everything, your audiences, your messaging, everything that you do, because it's just a process of transformation, really. And I find that even with this area, it's something that you're always going to be reevaluating. Like there were certain habits that I had really well established in my life that no longer serve me now, and I have to still take a look at it. So it keeps repeating. It just depends on where you are in the journey, just in a different phase, because you are growing in other areas. So your focus tends to go on other things. So it's just it's such an important area that constantly needs evaluation. Jenni, I want to hear from you. For people sometimes with our line of work, they feel like, okay, I have enough information on Google. Like Alona, like Jenni just shared with me here, like, here's like steps I can try to do it on my own. What is the difference between someone trying to do this on their own and the fact that there's a resource like yourself that can walk them through this process step by step while personalizing the whole thing for them? What's your perspective on that?
Well, it takes a lot of time to research and find out like what's working actually for you, and to see what are the pain points and change them. Because quite often we're quite stubborn with our habits, and it's not easy to change the habits or stop overworking or stop putting the phone away when you need to, even though you should, you're not doing that. All those shoulds, I should not do that, or I should do this, and we still go against our own will. So we cannot really decide that we are going to change that easily when we are not seeing our situation objectively and seeing where we come from, what's not working, what is working, but also work with those unconscious patterns that I work with people in hypnosis and doing hypnotherapy, which is an amazing tool. One of the tools I use in my coaching practice to get really quick, rapid results, so we can change the habits and become free to have better habits and more happiness and more joyful lives and more energy, and really rise higher and manage those anxieties and overwhelm in the end. So that's one of the things, of course. And there's so many tools, so many practices, so many things that we can do, and how to start your morning. It's not always like the way that you read. Start meditating or doing yoga. It's not for everybody. So I have like huge toolbox of different methods and practices and things that I can help people to create their kind of a self-care practice and stay healthy and well long term.
Yeah. Well, there you said it. And I do feel like we need to talk more about this as
Yes.
people in this industry doing our work, because a lot of the times, we have to articulate these things, because somebody might be thinking that, it's just like try a few things, but we all know that this is not logical. I mean, I know how to get healthy. I know I have to eat well, have to
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
Like we all know this. I know how to make money in my business. I have to get a lot of clients. I have to build some systems, and I have to probably get support, because otherwise I'll be chained to my desk. Like we know this, but there's still much need for
It's
this.
not happening. Still it's not happening.
I'm not where I want to be, exactly, in whatever area that I'm in. So I think what stood out to me from how you described that, and from also what I see through my personal work is, and other coaches that I help grow their businesses, is that the awareness. You have something on your calendar: accountability, commitment, positive accountability. Someone is holding the space. You're building momentum with that area. Everything is personalized. It's step by step. It works for you. It's meeting you where you are. All of this you won't find on Google or all over the internet.
No.
And the other beautiful thing is their experience and giving you the shortcuts from you avoiding to go through this through your own pain. Something that took me a year to learn, I could probably teach it in 30 minutes. So you're saving time, you're saving money, you're saving, your healthy relationship with yourself, with your family, right? So a lot of times I find we have to talk about the costs and use some really quantifiable measures for people, because I think our brain processes that faster. Right, just kind of more of the feelings, because the feelings is just like, okay, it's a nice to have, but no, this is a big pain point. And so might be going through this, we have to think of the cost for not acting on the things that we actually want. So we have to be a little assertive on it. Like I
know where you're going to be in a year if you're not doing this now, because that's so true. And quite often people, something needs to happen before we do like a bigger changes. But, then it's like so much more difficult, to make those changes when we are not well. Or when big things happen in life, separations happen, or the health issues, it's like somebody.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I want to change this, because I don't think we're being assertive enough with our work. I don't know if it's confidence or messaging, or just being able to also articulate the pain points and the results from being in that problem that you are encountering and the result you want enough. Because then we have the reactions and the reactory problem, where when there's a big pain point in my life, then I'll act. But why are you waiting so long? You could have completely have changed your life like years ago. Anyway, I just kind of have a intuitive feel that this is something that we must talk more about. So I appreciate as well, and everything that you have shared with me so far, Jenni. And of course, I anticipate it would have been a great conversation with so much value and wisdom that you shared in this area. So I like to end the interview. I like to keep them really, structured well, so that, again, it's not more information people need. It's just aha moment, something hopefully that we shared, both of us, mainly you, that they can just start right away and just continue to get the support. So having said that, where is it that people can find more information around the work you do, Jenni, and all the amazing resources I'm sure you have put together for people?
On my website, it's www.jenniglad.com, and of course on Facebook, jenni.glad. You can find me there, and also in LinkedIn and Instagram. And I offer like 30-minute calls, so we can really evaluate the situation, where they are, where people are, and see how does it feel like, and talk about what would it require to get to the results.
Yeah.
that they need and want.
Take the action now. Back to our conversation. Take the action now. I mean, this is something that definitely has to be top priority. Our health is our wealth. You can't do anything else.
No, it's the foundation.
Busy and overwhelmed. Like my biggest fear now is like, oh my God, if my health is not there, like, I can't do my work. So, don't do it like that. Utilize the resources that Jenni and other people have to offer, but just take action and commit in this area. So that everything else will revolve around it, I promise you. I've learned this a little bit late in life, this lesson, but nothing is better late than never, right? What does that say?
Absolutely, yeah.
A point A where we have the awareness, and that's where the responsibility lies, so that you take action. Don't let that moment pass you by. I think that's the other thing I've learned as well.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. You will find Jenni in our Facebook group community as well, Life School Alona Lopari. And wherever you're watching this show, whether it's on podcast, inside the group, or also on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and do all the things so that we can have more amazing conversations and people like Jenni on our show. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Love to offer you a free high-level strategy call where I would love to hold the space and really connect the dots for you in your life and business alignment, from branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, and really have you walk away with insight on what you might be missing and what are the gaps you are currently experiencing in your business between where you are and what you're trying to achieve, so that you can get more income and make more impact with the work that you are doing in the world. Let me know if you'd like to connect, and I'll be more than happy to have a call and a beautiful conversation together to see if we can support you further with your goals.